So Peaches mentioned the social media thing. I don't know if you've noticed, there are plenty of people that are just bitching and moaning and constantly mad about stuff. So number one, that market is already saturated, boys and girls. I don't want to be another voice that's just mad about things all of the time. It's tired. I was talking to a friend of mine, there's a very specific population of people in the military, and it's where retention is hitting us the hardest. It's in between, it's like that 6 to 14 year time frame. It's a whole generation of people that I don't know what happened, but they are just pissed off all the time. And they're just constantly spouting that negativity. And when I look at the landscape of social media, it's like the Lion King. It's like everything else. Like you can have all of this beautiful stuff. And it's like, what's that shadowy realm over there? And it's like, man, that's like E3 to E6, 6 to 12 years in. Like we don't go there. Like just for somebody else is already doing that. Like we are content creators and we have a very specific niche, and we realize that we're here to provide a function, right? Like we want to be in that space. I know where my space isn't. My space is not making memes in the military meme community that just absolutely blast every single decision that comes out or every single social issue. I just don't, I can't do it. For my mental health, I cannot be that negative all the time. And there's plenty of other people that are better at it. And I won't, put their names out here right now. Like everybody knows who to follow if you want to really like watch somebody burn something to the ground. Man, I urge you, go follow them for that. But that's not what we're here to do. I'm not here to be negative all the time, because that's honestly not who I am as a person. I'd be disingenuous to sit here and just rail on about things that I don't like. Do I disagree with things, or do I have a personal opinion on those things? Absolutely, I do. 100%. It's just not for the project here. That's kind of like the first thing that I think of is, hey, that's not my space, Well,
I think whenever you're confronted with one of those situations where you see something and on the surface it's bad, you have a couple choices on how do you get after that. Excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. I'm getting emotional talking about this.
That's it, Trent. Trent immediately cries. Like this one is this is the episode where Trent cries because he gets so emotional.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But there's two ways to affect something, right? And we've all seen this. I think part of this is we've been in for a long time, because you can sit around and you can complain about it. And it's not that there's no goodness in that, right? Sometimes you've seen it on team. Someone will be like, hey man, this is jacked up. But unless you take a positive action on the other side of that to fix it, then it doesn't mean anything. And I think what we're trying to do is make the second choice. We're trying to create a community and bring people in the door and show them all the positive attributes, but not like sunshine and rainbows, but we're like, hey, like it is what you make it. The community is the people. Every situation is the people. So if you come in with a positive attitude and you focus on the good things and you try to make it better and spend the majority of your energy, building rather than burning, then everything, that'll fix a lot of the problems. You know what I mean? And no matter what the higher ups or the politicians or whatever else they're all doing, you can create an almost bulletproof community that can get after the mission and do what they need to do, in spite of all the negativity that's out there. And also,
right, and that doesn't mean that we're not very. Oh, I'm sorry, Trent. Go for it.
No, I'm good.
Well, I was just going to say that, like, that doesn't mean that we're protecting our own community or our own leadership or anything like that. And I fully admit, like, hey, I am now special tactics leadership, right? Like, well, yeah, kind of.
You're good. Just put that out there, big boo boo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, I am a they now, right? So it's not a matter of like, hey, don't attack me, because I certainly deserve a lot of criticism, like a lot, not just from the podcast, but a lot of criticism within, the leadership structure and that kind of stuff. Cause I am not where I want to be or providing the change that I want to see. And that's just that's just being honest. So, so we should be critical. We should be critical of leadership. We should be critical of our own peers. I think don't just chuck spears. Like, right. If you've got it, you got to come with a solution. Like that's one of the things. Like I get what I call drive-bys every day in the office, which is fine because I have established that culture of like, hey, I have an open door. If you need anything, you come in there and we'll talk about it. But if you're going to do that, you also have to have a solution, unless you're at a point where you've exhausted everything and it's just like, hey man, here's what I got. And I don't have all the variables or all the different ways or methods to attack this problem and solve it.
My other favorite thing that people will do is they'll just automatically assume. They'll be like, well, you guys haven't addressed this, so you must agree with the worst parts of it. But like, what are you talking about? Like, you have no idea the conversations that we are having every single day with our peers actually in the system, right? So when you like take whatever dramatic situation that you want, there have been plenty in the last couple of years that have happened, that have blown up on social media and we've all had to deal with, right? People are like, oh, well, you haven't addressed that, so you must be on the side of the leadership or you must be on the side of the institution. And be like, absolutely not. You have no idea the conversations that we engage in at work. You have no idea the conversations that we have with our peers. We have just decided as a group of people that we're not going to put that out to the world for a couple different reasons. And number one, it's a military axiom and it's like a rule of thumb, but you don't complain down the chain. We are not here. Like we have to take, you know what it is. We have this little podcast and we joke around with each other and stuff, but you got two E8s and an E9 on a podcast. We can't complain down the chain to you. It's toxic. That's terrible leadership for you to complain down the chain. Is everything all sunshine and daisies? No. Are we happy every single day of work? No. But you know what? It's our job to show you that even though sometimes things suck, you can actually just put your head down and work through it and find a way to be positive on the other side of it. So if you think that I've never walked in the chief's office and shut the door and been like, all right, dude, and he can just feel it.
I know it's coming.
He's like, I know, I'll sit down and be like, all right, chief. And he goes, uh-oh. And he'll stop what he's doing. Like I am one of those drive-bys and I will just rip off and we will sit in there and we'll get it out of our systems. And usually I'll look at him and it's like cathartic. I'll look at him and I'll be like, all right, time to go win. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but time to go, win here. And we take that very seriously because we, call it a generational thing, call it an old school thing. But I had team sergeants. I'd be like, hey man, how you doing today? He's like, everything sucks, but I'm not going to bitch to you. How's your day going? And that always stuck with me. And the best team sergeants would do that.
That's what Trent does whenever I come into San Antonio. Like, hey bro, let's link up. We'll go walk around the special warfare squadron. And Trent just listens to me.